Hey y'all, thanks for joining me again on Just Giovanni's YouTube channel. We are still talking self-care. This for the whole month of July we have been talking about self-care. If you are new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe. If you enjoy the video, make sure that you like it, comment below. But for the month of July, I've pretty much just talked about self-care, self-love, what to do, how to identify it, things that help. And today pretty much we're going to be doing that again, but more so identifying why we should even know why self-care is important to us. You know, why did that even become like a thing for us all of a sudden in our lives now that we hit 30s, 40s, 50s, and we're just realizing that we need to give more to ourselves. So that's what we're pretty much going to be doing today. Like I said, if you are new, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like and comment below. So anyone can give up. It's the easiest thing in the world to do, but to hold it together when everyone else would expect for us to fall apart, that is true strength, right? And I say that because honestly, self-care and self-love, if you have not been doing it before, then this is the time where you have to identify and pull out all of that true strength when people think your life should be falling apart. You know, like, girl, I don't know how you do it. You just lost that person, or you lost your mom, or you lost your dad, or you've lost a loved one during the coronavirus, and you're still trying to find that true strength to pull yourself together. So I applaud you. I hope all of you have been doing all you can to show and give yourself self-care, self-love. I hope that you have been trying to find different methods or different ways that works for you. You know, everybody has a different platform or a different method to really dig deep into what matters to them. We just had a conversation on a podcast, Soapbox Podcast I'm a part of. I'll drop that link below. But the Soapbox Podcast, we talked about self-care, and we had a professional psychologist on there speaking on what it means and why we should do it. So if you guys need a little bit more insight, please check that out, and it is on my Instagram, some clips, and also I'll provide the link below. So before we begin, make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. So let me just tell y'all a little bit about me and where I'm trying to go. I started my YouTube channel because as a journalist working for a company, you often are censored and they control your thoughts, and what you can say is pretty much control. And I spoke too often to myself and others about my passion and my purpose and what I wanted to do in life and what I noticed and how I felt when I did not fulfill certain goals. So once I graduated from college and I had Noble, I was more focused on wanting to fill this gap that I kept feeling like God was putting something on my heart that I was missing, or I just and it always wanted to make me go harder at work and be better in things. But then I started to realize, like, I'm pushing myself in the wrong direction, and I'm trying to fulfill certain things that may not even be necessarily where God is trying to pull me. So the more I allowed that conversation to happen, then I started to place more emphasis on maybe God is trying to help me fulfill my purpose. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why every now and then, even if I accomplish a goal, I don't necessarily feel fulfilled, because it's just another goal, but it's not necessarily bringing me super joy because that's not my purpose. That's not my passion. So I started doing some purpose and passion searching and soul searching and praying, and then God led me to realize, well, I will reveal my purpose to you, but you need confirmation about who you are first and what you believe about yourself and what you are called to do. Drop a comment if you ever had a conversation like that, or if you realize, like, well, first of all, I don't even know what I really want, you know. So then I started to have that conversation with myself, like, Javonni, okay, what is it that you even really want to do? What is it that you enjoy? You know, what do you really see yourself doing, or what brings you complete happiness? I started to journal it. I started to break it down. I started to do a lot of different things. But ultimately, it led me to now, this point, years later, wanting to figure out who I am and why can't I love myself more. So at the beginning of July, I started this self-care regimen where I devoted more to God and myself. I started that because pretty much I saw more people were giving more to themselves, and I felt like I was being left in the dust. So I now am on this 21-day self-care journey. I'll give you all the details at the end of the video, and I'll have the I'll provide you that link. But I'm on this self-care journey, and I want to share with you what that is like. So I started this self-care journey, and I started it because for once I really wanted to choose myself, because I couldn't figure it out. Like, why can't I choose myself, or why am I really struggling with this whole purpose thing? You know I love, I give, and I have all these great talents, but I couldn't really pinpoint why I still felt lost or empty or wavering. And I don't want to waver anymore. And I realized, like, Javonni, you have to be more in tune with yourself. You have to understand you more, love you more. And that ultimately will lead you to your purpose and your passion, and to fulfilling the necessary dreams and goals that you ultimately want to accomplish in this life. So, the things I had to understand is that the serenity prayer, for one, God grant me the serenity to understand and to accept the things that I cannot change, and the knowledge and wisdom to know the difference between the two. That doesn't come without you knowing yourself. You won't be able to change anything if you don't even know what it is that you like or dislike. Drop a comment below if you found your purpose, all of that good stuff. Or if you want me to help you, drop a comment and say, hey, I want to help. But just throughout the challenge, which I am not doing alone, I'm doing it with some other ladies, and they are also enjoying it. The conversations that we share with each other also just bring to light that a lot of the things that we think we are dealing with by ourselves, we are not. And the self-care journey, it shouldn't have to be done alone. And I appreciate the women who have been able to hold me accountable, because a lot of times I'm always just leaning to the right side, trying to pick people up and bring them up. But actually this time, people who weren't even, not even like my best friends, they're able to hold me accountable. So even if it's not like your best friend who's joining the conversation with you, or one of your closest people, find somebody that will hold you accountable, who is able to carry or understand your baggage, or listen to it without them feeling, just, with them really genuinely wanting to help you and pick you up. And if you're the strong friend, but you're dealing with the whole I love myself situation, join the self-love challenge and tell me more about it. So I have a couple of questions for you, and these questions also helped me identify if I should even do this whole self-love challenge. And the book that I'm reading, the questions definitely shocked me, because I didn't know that a lot of them had to deal with self-esteem and all types of other things. But so here are the questions, okay? Number 1. You often worry about what other people think of you. And when you do worry about what they think of you, you're most likely thinking it's bad. You're thinking if whatever the thought of your picture is, or what you post on Instagram, if they don't like it, then they must have a problem with me. That's a sign. You might need to practice on your self-love, self-care. Okay? Number 2, you feel that when compared to your peer group, you are falling behind. or you're not meeting the necessary goals that you see other people reaching in their 20s and 30s. Or, you know, by the time you're 40 and 50, you feel like whoever you went to college with, high school with and middle school with, that y'all need to be on the same level. No. Number 3, you frequently embark on the fix me up. I like to say the fix me up projects for your life. Like, okay, I'm actually going to spend money on myself. I'm going to go to the mall and spend $400, and then I'm going to feel better because I just needed to spend money on myself. Okay? Or I'm going to start exercising more. And then you do it for one day, and then you feel good, and then the next day you feel bad because you didn't do it. Those are the pick myself up one day motivation things. You know, when really it's just more internally. Like, do you really have to spend $400 or $500 on yourself to feel good? Or, you know, can you do something else? You know, I'm just saying. Number 4, you feel crushed by negative criticism. Like, you're one of those people, every time somebody says something to you, like, yeah, I think you should just wear dark purple lipstick instead of red, then you just ready to break down, or you just, oh my gosh, why is this person trying to tell me what to do? This is what I want to do. This is how I'm going to live my life. This is how I want my makeup to look. It's just like, just calm down. Just calm down. You shouldn't be completely crushed all the time or so defensive every time someone says the smallest thing about something that they think you should change, or, you know, that may look better on you. And if that is your way to cope, or to just block out the extra noise because you're so used to people criticizing you, or you're just so used to living your own life that you're so afraid to change for anyone, you might need to try the self-love challenge. Okay, number 5. The moment somebody praises you, you are on this high horse. Like, oh my gosh, life is great. The moment you accomplish something that's good for you, you are, yes, now I can celebrate myself. Now I love myself more because I have a degree. Now I love myself more because I finished that class. If those things make you feel like you're a better person because you made those accomplishments, and then 5 seconds ago you wanted to jump off a building, maybe you're over analyzing, or you're allowing your life goals to outweigh how you feel about yourself. Number 6, you binge eat, you overly drink or smoke, and you do these things to cope because you would rather not think about what it is that's bothering you, or things like that. And I'm not saying that you can't do those things. I'm just saying, what are the reasons behind them? That one was pretty short, okay? Number 7, you dream of a point far off. Now, I'm not even talking about the future. I mean, yeah, okay, it is the future. But where you're pretty much finally, you finally can see everything going in your favor, or everything is better now in this place that you dream of. And you feel like you're not stuck in the same situations. And then when you wake up, you're back to reality. So really, you only have a nice life if you're dreaming about it. You get what I'm saying? And we don't want to be in that place. So number 8 is similar, except you can think of a few things in your life that you use to beat yourself up. Like, you're too fat, you're lazy, you are uneducated, you're too shy, you don't talk enough, whatever you try, you fail at. So what you do is you try to dream about all of those things, the opposite, and you hope that those things will become a part of your life. So kind of pretty similar to number 7, except this time it's you telling yourself bad things, and instead of you trying to fix them, you just envision them being different. So those were 8 signs to look into. If any of those signs related to you, that may mean you need to practice self-love and self-care. You know, if every time something, somebody asks you to do something and you desperately don't want to do it, or you feel bad, and it's so hard for you to say no, that's a sign that maybe you need to, you know, identify some things. If you can't post a picture of yourself without feeling arrogant because you told yourself you're pretty, that's a sign. I think in general, anytime we mouth the wrong things about ourselves, how can we want better? How can we say and speak things into existence and expect a different outcome? You know, how can we say, oh, I'll never get married, or my childhood was so messed up that I already know the odds are against me? Yeah, they pretty much are, because you just spoke that into the air. You just spoke that over your life. But if you just start saying, my time will come, I'm a beautiful human being, I'm beautiful inside and the outside, then you will attract those things. Even in relationships, if you start saying, I'm not going to put up with this because I am this, I know who I am, I deserve this, you will attract those things in your relationship, and you will also see your relationship start to change. It's really up to us to understand what we are not going to put up with in certain relationships, and what do we want to improve about ourselves that has led to self-doubt. So that just goes back to the very beginning, when I was just talking about how it's going to be very hard for you to even understand the whole process of self-care and self-love if you don't love on yourself a little bit more. If you don't identify who you are, and what makes you happy. But the self-love journey, or the challenge that I'm on, it kind of helps you find out those things. You know, like, hey, remember that time you told yourself you didn't want to say this because you thought you would be arrogant? Or remember that time when you poured out into someone else and you didn't get it back, so now you're sad? Or remember that time where you couldn't really celebrate yourself until you passed this class? You find out those things. But I want to encourage you, before you even start your self-love challenges, to understand that when you go into it, you are also wanting to focus on things that you want to change in your life, that you want to make different, that you want to have a impact on how you think and how you feel, and you want your mind, your body, and your soul to be aligned. I'm Giovanni, and I am becoming Giovanni to the full extent, and I don't want to hurt people in the process. I'm not accepting people, I'm not expecting people to read my mind while I'm going through things. I am fully capable of expressing myself to those who I care about if I become distant or things like that. But there's no excuse. There's no excuse why you cannot properly identify what it is that you want in life, because we have that opportunity. Now, when we are deprived of that opportunity, it is because we don't want to hurt somebody else's feelings. We don't want to ruin the relationship. We don't want to try something new. We are afraid. And I felt and I feel all of those feelings, y'all. I know what it's like. So that's why my goal is to speak out on these subject matters, and to speak what is happening not only in your lives but in my life. Every single day is a self-care journey, because we make decisions. Yes, I want to do something. No, I do not. Yes, I'm going to do something for me. No, I am not. You know, all of that stuff it's happening in our mind. We just don't see it on the surface. So I just had to set limits, and I'm still doing that, and boundaries, so that I can just recognize things that I want to put up with, things that I'm not, what I like, what I don't like, why I have overextended myself. If you have not watched that one, you should. That one is the video right before this about overextending yourself to people, and I also had to identify that in the whole self-care, self-love process. Understanding myself is also understanding the decisions I make. And it will be the same thing for you. Understanding yourself will also explain some of the decisions that you make. For me, I'll give an example. I used to be a people pleaser. And then I was like, well, why were you a people pleaser? And then I started to realize, because I just wanted to make people feel good. I wanted other people to feel good. But then it started to crush me as I got older, because I started to leave myself out of the picture, and Giovanni was left behind. So no longer am I leaving Giovanni behind. And it can be as simple as me posting a picture of myself and saying, she looks good, or 26 and killing it, you know. And a lot of times, some of us who are afraid people will think, oh, she's arrogant, cocky. At this point, I don't care, because I'm not being arrogant and I'm not being cocky. I'm loving on myself. And if I choose to do it publicly, like we do a lot of other stuff publicly, if somebody is offended by it, that's for them to understand about themselves and why they feel that way. Why do they feel if another person praises themselves, it makes them uncomfortable? And it never made me uncomfortable when other people praise themselves. Never. So I just never could understand, why did I feel like I needed to make other people comfortable if I wanted to praise myself? Now, I'm not a bragger or a boaster. I'm never going to go on social media and post everything that I have or what I'm doing, just because that's just not me, and I don't want people to know what I have. That's how you get robbed. But just in general, I encourage you to join me on the self-love challenge by posting a picture of yourself. I'll do it, and say something nice about yourself. You know, 30 and flirty. Maybe not that one, but 30 and fine. You know, 40 and on my grind. 50 and looking pretty and sedity. You know, 60, killing it, you know, on all levels. 26, you can't touch this. Whatever it may be. 25 and fine, or 20 fine, you know, all that stuff people be saying. 30 fine, which is the opposite of 39. But yeah, I'm just saying in general, like, make yourself feel good this week. Make yourself put on some makeup when you go to work or not. You know, sometimes we even won't put on makeup at work because our coworker look a hot mess. And so we feel like, you know what, I'm going to go and look in a hot mess because they look a hot mess and I'm not trying to overstep them. That's them. If you want to go to work with the baddest suit on, do it. If you want to go to work with your heels on, do it. Make yourself feel good. Do what you need to do to make yourself be in a comfortable space. That's what we're doing here. That's all we're doing here, is loving on ourselves, and we should not feel bad about it. So if you like what I had to say, thank you so much. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share to my YouTube video. The previous one that I talked about was not overextending yourself in relationships, and that one went well. Please check that out. And then for August, I'm trying something new. Okay, for August, I'm thinking about maybe doing some lives on my Instagram. You can follow me on there, Just Giovanni. Or I may do some lives on my Facebook, also Just Giovanni. And I will definitely be looking forward to you all joining me and supporting me, and also just sharing your experiences with me. If you do decide to do a self-care journey or a self-care challenge, self-love challenge, whatever it may be, even if you don't join with me, I definitely want to hear about it, and so that I can share your stories with other women. So the last time, I think I told you all, the last time I had a wine, the last two videos I didn't have my wine glasses, no particular reason, but this time I do, and I'm drinking Stella Rosa Black Lux and it's really good. So you all, if you like red wine, that one is good. It's sweet, it's not bitter. It's definitely the opposite of Merlot, even though I drink Merlot too. But that's my alarm. It is really late, even though it looks beautiful out here. Okay. But thank you so much for joining me on my YouTube channel. That's my alarm. Perfect timing. I hope you all enjoy it, and I hope to see you back again.